Hi everyone and welcome back to the Kenwood Kids Club. First of all, let me wish you a very happy new year. Welcome to 2022. And with the new year, we've made some changes here at the Kenwood Kids Club as well. First of all, you may notice that our videos are not live anymore. We realised that although we were doing them live, we don't have any interactive features switched on, which meant that by doing them live, all it meant was you had to watch lots of footage of me doing things, whereas now we can edit our videos and chop bits out that you don't need to see. So hopefully that will make things a bit quicker and easier for you to follow along with. Don't forget, you can still pause as you're baking along with me though, so that you do have time to do things. You don't have to try and keep up with the edit. We're also hoping to be able to enable some more interactivity features over the next few weeks as well, so keep an eye out for those. But today, we're going to kick off 2022 with a really delicious recipe for a banana and pecan loaf. Now I know lots of people got into baking by making banana bread when we were all in lockdown last year, or the year before last, I guess it is now. And I have resisted putting out my banana bread recipe onto the internet for all this time. But I had some bananas that needed using up in the fruit bowl and I figured, why not? Let's give it a go. So, as always, if you want to bake along with this video, you can head down to the video description where you will find the link to the Kenwood Kids Club website, where there will be the full recipe, the ingredients list, the method, everything you'll need. But yes, today we're going to start off by mashing our bananas. I'm just using a fork, and all I'm going to do is just smush the end of that fork into these bananas, which are nice and soft. Now, if you don't have any past their best bananas and you'd like to have a go at this recipe, then what you can do is get your adult to pop them in the oven on around about 180 degrees for a few minutes until the skins turn black. And once you've done that, the bananas inside will be nice and soft and ready to use. If you make something like this with green bananas that aren't very ripe yet, what will happen is you just won't get much of a banana flavour. And you can't have banana bread without banana flavour, can you? So I'm just using the fork to mash the banana against the side of the bowl and just making it nice and loose, ready to be added to the cake in a little while. You might find it easier to do it with a potato masher, or you can just pop it in your food processor if you want to speed things up. But when your banana is nice and loose like this, then you can pop that to one side, and we won't need it just yet. The first thing we're going to do in the mixer today is add in our butter and some soft light brown sugar. Now it starts like any other cake really, just by creaming together those two ingredients until they're nice and pale and smooth. So I've got my creaming beater attachment, I'm going to turn the mixer on, and I'm just going to run this for a couple of minutes until this is really, really smooth. And now, because we're not live, I'll be able to jump ahead to when that's done. Once your mixture is looking nice and pale and smooth, hopefully something a little bit like this, we're going to scrape off that beater. Just make sure all of those ingredients are nicely combined in the bowl. And then I'm also just going to scrape around the edge of that bowl as well, just to make sure I haven't got any little pockets of butter or sugar that have been missed by the mixer. But I have to say, it looks pretty good. And then in with that, we can add our wet ingredients. So that is 2 large eggs, those 3 mashed bananas, and some vanilla extract. If you've only got vanilla bean paste, which we've used in recipes before, then that will work absolutely fine as well. But I'm going to start by cracking my 2 eggs. There's 1 and 2. And then as always, you'll notice I've cracked those into a separate bowl. That's just because if I drop any shell in there, it's easier for me to scoop out than trying to get it out of this big bowl. But they can go straight in there. We're not going to mix them up with a fork first or anything today. And then I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of that vanilla extract. You can measure yours. And then finally, that mashed banana. I'm going to use my big spatula to help me do that so I don't make a mess. But as always, I've probably jinxed myself now. I always make a mess when I say I'm not going to. There we go, and then, just like we did before, we're going to run the mixture to make this all mix up nice and smooth. I'll warn you, because of the banana, the texture looks a little bit strange, but I promise it will be delicious at the end. Now once you've done that, you'll have quite a gloopy, liquidy consistency to your mixture, but that's fine. Again, most of that's because of the banana, so don't panic too much. Again, I'm just going to scrape that beater off one more time, just to make sure I don't have any big clumps of buttery sugar mixture on there. And then we can go in with our dry ingredients. Now our dry ingredients today are going to be some plain wholemeal flour, so it has no raising agent in this one, and wholemeal just means that it's got kind of all the brown bits from the outside of the seeds as well. It just gives a really nice texture to our bake, and it makes it a little bit better for us too. I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. That's sometimes known as baking soda, and what that's going to do is react with the acids in the bananas to give us a really good lift in our cake. And then I've got some pecans. I'm going to save the pecans for one moment, give this a quick mix, and then we'll stir those in at the end though. So grab that beater back, pop it on, and then give it a quick mix. Remember, when we're adding flour to a bake, we don't want to mix it for too long because we don't want to activate all of the gluten or the proteins in the flour and make our bread really doughy. We want it to be nice and light, so like a cake. So as soon as you can't see that flour anymore, you can stop mixing, lift that top up, and again, give your beater a scrape if you need to. Sometimes the flour can get stuck on it. And then to add the pecans, I'm actually going to take the bowl off the mixer and just fold them through by hand. Already making a mess. I told you, every time I say I'm not going to make a mess, I end up making a mess. So there go my pecans. And to fold, all I'm going to do is take my spatula and literally fold the mixture over the top of those pecans. And then I go through the middle and fold it over again. The reason why we do it like this is, again, we're not really mixing that flour much more, so we're not going to make our cake really dense and bready, but we are going to make sure that those pecans are nicely spread out throughout the whole of our bake. Because we've got some quite dense ingredients in there as well, you should find that the pecans will stay mixed out throughout the loaf rather than all sinking to the bottom. That can happen sometimes in cakes. So make sure you're scraping around the bowl and then folding it over on itself just to really evenly mix everything together. And then once you've done that, all you need to do is grab a standard loaf tin. I have one that looks like this, and I've just lined it with one of these ready-to-use loaf tin liners. You can buy these at the supermarket, or they're available at most online retailers too. What I like about these is it means I don't have to butter or grease my tin at all, and when it's baked I can lift it straight out. Last job is to transfer this mixture into the tin, trying to do that as neatly as possible. And if you find it a bit heavy, because your bowl is a glass bowl like mine, or just because you've got a lot of mixture, then get an adult to help you do this bit. So give that bowl a good scrape, make sure we haven't missed any of that lovely mixture, and then using that same spatula, all I'm going to do is just smear that mixture, or spread that mixture, into the corners, and try and make sure that my loaf is nice and flat. Now this next step is an optional step, but it's one I like to do because I think it makes the loaf look really amazing and it gives you even more yummy texture. So I've got a few extra pecans here that I've chopped up, and all I'm going to do is sprinkle them across the top of my loaf. So try and cover most of the surface if you can. I think I'm using about 30 more grams of pecans here. You want kind of big chunky bits, not lots and lots of tiny ones. It's looking pretty good to me. And then once you've done that, this needs to go into a preheated oven at 180 degrees, which is 160 degrees fan, or gas mark 4, I think it's 4, for about 50 minutes. That's 50 minutes. What you're looking for is it should have risen more in the centre, so it's got a nice dome to it, When you touch it, it should be nice and springy, almost like a sponge. And if you get your adult to have a listen, like I always say, as long as you can't hit any liquid bubbling away in the centre, it's ready to come out. Once you've done that, we're going to leave it to cool in the tin until it's nice and cold. We're not going to transfer it to a cooling rack like we sometimes do. This one can cool down in the tin and then it will be ready to eat. So I'm going to go and put mine in the oven. I'm going to do the washing up, have a bit of a tidy, and then when this is ready, I'll come back and show you what it looks like, and perhaps we can give it a taste as well. Okay, I'll see you in a second. Okay, so it's probably been about a couple of hours now, and as you can see, my loaf is completely baked, and it's not completely cool yet, but it's definitely cool enough to do the next bit, which of course is to take it out of the tin, cut it open, and give it a taste, which I'm really excited about because it smells absolutely amazing. That soft brown sugar, light brown sugar, that's what it's called, has given it a really nice kind of caramelly flavour to it. And then you've got obviously the nuts and the banana in it. Yeah, the smell is so good. So, because we've used that loaf tin liner, I can literally just lift this out of the tin and pop it straight onto my board here. And if I peel this off, you'll be able to see that around the outside, it's all a lovely kind of consistent brown colour. And then if I grab a very sharp knife, and again, you might need to get an adult to do this bit for you, just very gently slice through. And you want to kind of almost saw at it, because otherwise what will happen is you'll push those pecans down and won't give you a nice neat slice. I'm going to cut a few slices of this and hopefully you'll be able to see it's deliciously light and moist and just yum. So, oh, there we go. I managed to catch a pecan and it started to tear through, but never mind. So there we go. There are a couple of slices, and if I pull one out, you can see that those pecans are all spread out throughout the bake. And as I say, it's just really, really moist. So let's give it a taste. Oh, now we're not live, I can edit out the awkward bit of me just chewing. As I say, this one's still a little bit warm, and actually I think that's made it even better. But yeah, you get all those different flavours coming through, and it's really nice with that kind of really moist cake because of the banana. You've got the crunch from the pecans, and it's just so yummy. Definitely a step up from a normal banana bread. And in fact, if you wanted, you could even add a little spice, maybe with some cinnamon or some mixed spice as well, and I think that would elevate it even more. But if you fancy having a go at my banana and pecan loaf, all you need to do is head down to the video description and you'll find a link to the Kenwood Kids Club website where the full recipe, method and ingredients list are all there for you. If you do have a go at it, as always, don't forget to make sure you are signed up to be a member of the Kenwood Kids Club so that you can upload your bake and enter our Star Baker of the Month competition. We've just launched January's Star Baker of the Month, so the perfect time to get your entry in. Now last week I did say that I would announce December's winner in today's video, but I also said I probably wouldn't and it would end up being the week after. And I'm afraid that is the case. We haven't chosen our December winner yet because there were just some amazing entries. But stay tuned, I will announce December's winner in next week's video. That will be going up at 4 o'clock on Thursday, just as I used to live. The only difference is now it's a normal upload, not a live stream, which means you can come back and watch it whenever you want. So by all means give it a watch now. If you like the look of the recipe, come back and watch it again and bake along with me. And don't forget you can pause the video whenever you need to have a go at that bit of the recipe. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the results of your bake, so do make sure you share them over on the Kenwood Kids Club website. And if your adult uploads them on social media, be sure to tag me as well, at Mr. Baker's Cakes, and of course at Kenwood World. I will see you at the same time next week, but until then, take care, and as always, happy baking.